The Senate will come to order. Senator Todd, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I would be delighted to. Good morning, everyone. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our wonderful and great America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Majors, please take the roll.
Aguilar, Balmer, Baumgartner, Brophy, Cadman.
Excused?
Crowder, Grantham, Guzman, Harvey, Heath, Herpin, Hill,
Absent.
Hodge, John, Johnston, Jones, Kafalis, Kerr, King, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Newell, Nicholson, Renfro,
Excused?
Rivera, Roberts, Scheffel, Schwartz, Stedman, Tocktrop, Todd, Ulibarri, Zenzinger,
Did he texted to tell you that? Senator Hill is excused.
Madam President.
Here. With 32 present, 0 absent, 3 excused, the Senate has a quorum. Motion to adopt the journal, Senator Hill. Please add Senator Hill to the roll call.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I move the journal of Wednesday, March 13th be approved as as amended by the Secretary.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Committee reports.
March 12, 2014, Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology, after consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1034 be referred favorably to the Committee on Finance. March 12, 2014, Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology, after consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1082 be referred to the Committee of the Whole, favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. March 12, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs, after consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 139 be postponed indefinitely. March 12, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs, after consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1114 be postponed indefinitely. March 12, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs, after consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1223 be referred to the Committee of the Whole, favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. March 12, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs, after consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1265 be referred to the Committee of the Whole, favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. March 12, 2014, Committee on Education, after consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1256 be referred to the Committee of the Whole, favorable recommendation. March 12, 2014, Committee on Education, after consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1182 be referred to the Committee of the Whole, favorable recommendation.
Senate Services.
March 13, 2014, correctly printed, Senate Bill 156, Senate Joint Resolution 19, correctly engrossed, Senate Bills 51, 117, 131, correctly re-engrossed, Senate Bill 32, correctly revised, House Bills 1077, 1103, 1188, 1208, and 1293, correctly re-revised, House Bill 1224, correctly enrolled, Senate Bills 9, 60, and 95.
Message from the House.
March 12, 2014, Madam President, the House has passed on third reading and transmitted the advisory statutes, House Bills 1176, 1181, 1195, 1123. House has passed on third reading and transmitted advisory statutes, House Bills 1136 as amended, 1216 as amended, 1046 as amended, 1131 as amended, 1149 as amended, 1185 as amended, 1280 as amended. The House has passed on third reading and returns herewith Senate Bills 80 and 55. The House has adopted and returns herewith Senate Joint Resolution 18.
Message from the Reviser.
March 12, 2014, we herewith transmit without comment House Bills 1123, 1176, 1181, and 1195 without comment as amended. House Bills 1046, 1131, 1136, 1149, 1185, 1216, and 1280.
Committee reports.
March 12, 2014, Madam President, the Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends that the appointments be placed on the consent calendar and confirmed. Members of the Juvenile Parole Board for terms expiring November 15, 2017, Margaret Meg H. Williams of Golden, Colorado, to serve as a representative of the Colorado Department of Public Safety, reappointed. Paula Raymakers Matas of Grand Junction, Colorado, to serve as a public at-large member from the Western Slope, reappointed. Carmen Q. Nelson of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a public member, appointed. James A. Keown of Thornton, Colorado, to serve as a representative from the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment, reappointed. Patricia J. Kelly of Franktown, Colorado, to serve as a public member not employed by state government, appointed. For terms expiring November 15, 2018, Daniel L. Casey of Thornton, Colorado, to serve as a representative from the Colorado Department of Human Services, appointed. Karen L. G. Wilmez of Westminster, Colorado, to serve as a public member not employed by state government, appointed. And Candace Marie Hawkins of Thornton, Colorado, to serve as a representative of the Colorado Department of Education, appointed. March 12, 2014, Committee on Judiciary, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following House Bill 1110 be postponed indefinitely. March 12, 2014, Committee on Judiciary, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following House Bill 1171 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation and with the recommendation that it be placed on the consent calendar. March 12, 2014, Committee on Judiciary, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following House Bill 1191 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation.
Members, the Senate will stand in a brief recess. The Senate will come to order. Third reading of bills, consent calendar. Mr. Majors, please read the titles to all of the bills on third reading consent calendar.
House Bill 1188 by Representative Ryan and Senator Talk concerning revenue generated from the outdoor advertising program administered by the Department of Transportation. Senate Bill 51 by Senator Talk and Representative Singh concerning access to records relating to the adoption of children and in connection therewith making an appropriation. House Bill 1103 by Representative Pabon and Senator Harvey concerning the criteria that certain securities must meet to qualify as legal investments for public funds.
Majority Leader Heath.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of all the bills on third reading of bills consent calendar, which includes House Bills 1188, Senate Bill 51, and House Bill 1103.
Is there any discussion on any of the bills on third reading consent calendar? Seeing none, the question for the body are its adoption. Are there any no votes on any of the bills on third reading consent calendar?
This is always the most exciting time.
With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1188 is adopted. Co-sponsors. With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 51 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Ulibarri, John, Stedman, Kafalas, Madam President Pro Tem, Senators Newell, Zenzinger, Aguilar, Johnston, Nicholson. Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Todd. Co-sponsors on Senate Bill 51, Senator Lambert, Senator Kerr, Senator Schwartz, Senator Lundberg, Senators Marble, Nicholson, I think we got you, Herpin, Senator Rivera. Please add the President. With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1103 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Third reading of bills. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1208?
House Bill 1208 by Representatives Wright and Hamner and Senators Zenzinger and King concerning authorizing the Department of Education to recognize as administrative units for purposes of the Exceptional Children's Educational Act groups of school districts that were parties to joint agreements existing on January 1st, 2011 to provide special education services without forming a board of cooperative services.
Senator King.
Thank you, President Carroll. We move House Bill 1208 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Is there any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1208. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1208 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Ulibarri, Jones, Todd, Aguilar, Kerr, Madam President Pro Tem, Mr. Majority Leader. Senator Todd, I've got you. Senators Johnston, Schwartz, Scheffel, Grantham, Baumgartner, Newell. Co-sponsors on House Bill 1208, Senator Toptrop, Senator John, Senators Marble, Lundberg, Herpin, Roberts. Who am I missing? Senator Rivera. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 131?
Senate Bill 131 by Senator King and Representative Wright concerning the removal of certain identifying information from a motor vehicle registration card.
Senator King.
Thank you, President Carroll. I move Senate Bill 131 on final reading and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of Senate Bill 131. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 131 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Ulibarri, Rivera, Grantham, Aguilar, John, Kerr, Roberts, Crowder, Herpin, Scheffel, Hodge, Newell, Stedman, Madam President Pro Tem. Senators Todd, Baumgartner, Chalktrap, Mr. Majority Leader. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1293?
House Bill 1293 by Representative Holy Horse, Senator Heath, concerning payment of expenses of the Legislative Department.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1293 on third reading and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1293. Are there any no votes? Senator Balmer. With 32 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1293 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Roberts, Senator Stedman, Senator Kafalis. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 117?
Senate Bill 117 by Senator John and Representative Fisher, concerning the reauthorization and the regulation of real estate appraisers by the Board of Real Estate Appraisers through recreation and reenactment of the relevant statutes, incorporating no substantive amendments other than those approved during the first regular session of the 69th General Assembly.
Senator John.
Thank you, Madam President. I move Senate Bill 117 on third reading, final passage, and ask for an aye vote.
Is there any discussion? Question is the adoption of Senate Bill 117 on third reading. Are there any no votes? Senators Marble and Lundberg, Hill. With 30 aye votes, 3 no votes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 117 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Crowder, Senator Jones. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1077?
House Bill 1077 by Representative Giroux and Senator Hodge, concerning an increase in the statutory cap on the 2-year average of the unobligated portion of the Oil and Gas Conservation Environmental Response Fund.
Senator Hodge.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1077 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? The question is the adoption of House Bill 1077. Are there any no votes? Senators Balmer, Lundberg, Marble, Crowder, Hill, Lambert. With 27 ayes, 6 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Bill 1077 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Jones. Please add the President. General orders, second reading of bills. Senator Johnston.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The Senate will resolve itself into a Committee of the Whole for purpose of considering general orders, second reading of bills calendar, and Senator Johnston will take the chair.
Committee will come to order. Coat rule is relaxed. And Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 23?
Senate Bill 23 by Senator Schwartz, concerning an authorization of the voluntary transfer of water efficiency savings to the Colorado Water Conservation Board for in-stream use purposes and water divisions that include lands west of the Continental Divide.
Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. And I move Senate Bill 23 on second reading, and I move Amendment 2.
Is there a committee report, Senator Schwartz?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the Agriculture Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee report is a strike below, and that is actually amendment, what Senate Bill 23 is now, in fact, the committee report.
Is there any discussion on the committee report? The question before the body is the adoption of the Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Energy Committee report to Senate Bill 23. Is there any objection to the committee report?
All these amendments.
Seeing none, the committee report is adopted. There is an amendment on the desk. Senator Schwartz.
And thank you.
Mr. Majors, please read the title to Amendment 2.
Amendment L002, Senate Bill 23 by Senator Schwartz, amend Agriculture.
Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And actually, I put a copy of Amendment 2 on everyone's desk last night. So I move Amendment 2.
So move to the amendment, Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. And Amendment 2, as the material that I put on your desk last night, is basically addresses stakeholder issues that followed the adoption of the strike below in the Agriculture Committee. And those are issues relative to notice to water right holders, also in-stream flows derived from water efficiencies limited to minimum amount to preserve the environment, and consideration of formal and informal arrangements between water users. So, as I said, this document and a summary of this amendment has been put on your desk last night, and these are the issues that were remaining in the stakeholder process that Northern and Denver Water wanted to have have agreement on. So with the agreement on and the passage of Amendment 2, we are satisfying the concerns of those that were involved in the stakeholder process that wanted more assurance around the notice and also around the minimal amount of in-stream flows to be preserved to the environment. And with that, and the informal arrangements of water users. And that was something requested by the Colorado River District.
Is there any discussion on Amendment 2? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption of Amendment 2. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amendment 2 is adopted. To the bill, Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. And so the bill now consists of the strike below adopted in the Agriculture Committee as well as Amendment 2. And just going back, that Senate Bill 23 is a culmination of literally hundreds of hours and several years of discussion between stakeholders representing hardworking Coloradans making their livelihoods in irrigated agriculture and at the water supply agencies and the environmental and conservation nonprofit organizations. These discussions began last spring in particular after we compiled a polite request from the Colorado Water Congress and its members to move a substantial portion of last year's Senate Bill 19 that we passed for further consideration and further discussion by the Water Congress. And with that forum, we'll say that 23 is that aspect of the bill that we didn't adopt, but it will provide a dramatic improvement to our opportunity to encourage efficiency in agriculture. So there are several bill concepts that are incorporated into the bill. It's a fairly straightforward proposal at this time, and what we are doing is encouraging making infrastructure investments in some water to leave a bit of the water left into the stream, but also protecting from injury as well as from other water right holders. And that we also are addressing issues certainly around return flows and making sure that the other water rights are protected while we're also leaving through the in-stream flow process water in the river. The water efficiency savings, which is a term applied in the bill to saved water, will be derived from the portion of water diverted but not historically consumed by the crop. So this is your non-consumptive water, not your consumptive water. In most cases on the western slope, more water is diverted from the river into a canal or a ditch than is consumed on the farm or the ranch. And these diversion amounts historically have account for the ditch seepage and other losses. So by making improvements, we will have an opportunity to divert less water yet consume the historical consumptive use. Water efficiency savings can also be transferred to the CWCB for purposes of in-stream flows between the point of diversion and the historic point of return flows. That this is defined in Senate Bill 23, and it may not be changed to the consumptive use. Although it does create the opportunity for maintaining that water right, the program is completely voluntary. There is a complete voluntary. It doesn't require anyone to engage in the provisions of Senate Bill 23, but it does provide the opportunity for those that are in fact interested in making these efficiency improvements, that they will have the protection in doing that, and also support for those improvements. And then also the irrigators who transfer the efficiency will not be subject to abandonment of those rights. So the investment, what we're going to see through Senate Bill 23 is an investment in much needed irrigation infrastructure improvements, and agricultural efficiency measures will likely increase, and resulting water savings will be left to meet environmental needs and aquatic life, and subject the irrigation and the abandonment. Crop water consumption levels will be maintained, crops will be maintained, and most importantly, we will actually see agricultural land stay in production. That is one of the key provisions of this versus other opportunities through our flex bill, our alternative transfer methods, things we've considered. They will encourage drying up agricultural lands during some periods. So we have done everything we can in the bill to bring no harm to other water right holders on this stream, including downstream users who relied on these return flows by the historical upstream diversions. The benefits are hard to overstate, but they're also very, very modest in comparison to the water that is used in agriculture in the state of Colorado. And this is a bill that came out of our Senate Agriculture Committee, and with a strong, favorable support. And I am asking that with this, the opportunity for the inclusion of the amendment and the bringing on support of groups like Colorado Cattlemen's Association, Colorado Water Congress, Conservation Colorado, Denver Water, Environmental Defense Fund, Western Resource Advocates, Western Landowners Alliance, Southwestern Water Conservation District, the Nature Conservancy, Trout Unlimited, Upper Gunnison Water Conservancy District, Lower Arkansas Water Conservancy District, and Water Quality and Quantity Committee of the Northwest COG. So members, I have brought back the charts that Senator Roberts had for her bill on irrigation lawn efficiency, that really will show in very graphic terms what the future of our state's water demands will be, as we're projecting Colorado to double in its size by 2050 in its population. These charts indicate that we will have demand for water not only on the western slope but throughout the state. Using our water efficiently and protecting our streams will also create opportunities for more water and diversified water use, especially from the western slope moving forward. With that, I will move again Senate Bill 23.
Further discussion on Senate Bill 23. Is there anyone else who would like to join in the sacred Colorado tradition of fighting over water? Senator Brophy. I figured you might.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And members, I'm going to ask for a no vote, and I won't give you a lengthy explanation for it. This is bad for the western slope of Colorado. And here's why. Because we're setting up a system where we can theoretically save some water and then transfer it from a water rights holder to another use. In this case, it's an in-stream use. But if you think for 1 second that the Thirsty Front Range will be satisfied to look at this theoretical water savings being transferred to in-stream use and not say to themselves very, very rationally, that's how we will bring more western slope water over to the Front Range. And it's not even real water, it's theoretically saved water, non-consumptive, theoretically saved water. But once you establish that it's appropriate to do this for one type of transfer, you cannot stop it from happening for another type of transfer, period. This bill will bring more Western Slope water over to the Front Range, denying them their future use of their water, and that's the reason why we should vote no on it.
Senator Tocktrop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and you told me you were going to gavel me, but please don't. You know, I heard this bill in committee also, and after it was heard, I had some issues, and you know, worked this through, and I understand what the good senator from the Front Range, from the East Plains, almost Kansas and Nebraska, is discussing. But I have talked to the bill sponsor and to a lot of the stakeholders about this, and it's amazing that you know, there is really no opposition. I think the River District was a little concerned for a while, but the bill sponsor worked that out. And you know, the one thing, the program is voluntary. I do have concerns that it could be changed, but that's going to be up to other folks who sit in this August body after we're gone, and to watch it carefully. And you know, the biggest fights down here are always over water. So even though I had concerns, I think many of them were addressed as this bill progressed, and I just asked for the support. It's kind of unique way of using water that I think we need to really start looking at when we start looking at use of water in the state as our population grows. And again, I would be a yes vote.
Senator Harvey. Don't worry, Senator Tocktrop. I could tell Senator Brophy was honored to be confused as a senator from the Front Range. Senator Harvey.
Amen. I just want to come up and give my support for this bill. If, as the senator from Kansas implied, that if this is theoretical water, then you don't have to worry about it. We won't have any water to transfer. But if, in fact, through water conservation and the ability to voluntarily go into this program and help to protect and improve our in-stream flows, why would we not want to do that? If the water doesn't come about through these conservation programs, then there won't be any precedent to be set. But if we can prove that through conservation we are able to put more water into the river, who are we as the state legislature to deny a farmer their private property right that they have purchased, their water, to allow them to do whatever they want to do with that water and sell it to whomever they want to sell it to? Why is that bad? Why would we want to deny water right owners the ability to do whatever they want to with their water? Whether that is to ensure that we're not drying up farms on the Eastern Plains. Why would we want to set policy to say that we don't want to help Eastern Plains farmers stay on their farms long term? That's not what this bill is. But the senator's argument was that we would be setting up a bad precedent. The bad precedent is we're allowing property owners to do with their private property what they want to do with their private property. Why is that a bad precedent? This is a great bill. I ask for your yes vote.
Senator from the Eastern Front Range.
I rest my case.
Any further discussion on Senate Bill 23? Senator Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I think this is the kind of solution we're going to need with more population, with scarce water. These are the kinds of solutions we're going to have, and I think this is a very innovative one, and I would ask for a yes vote.
Any further discussion on Senate Bill 23? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 23. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 23 is adopted. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1152?
House Bill 1152 by Representative Lawrence and Senator Sheffield concerning passive surveillance records of governmental entities.
Senator Sheffield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move House Bill 1152 and the Judiciary Committee report.
To the Judiciary Committee report, Senator Sheffel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colleagues, the committee report, the bill contains an exception for all Department of Corrections, jails, et cetera, and what we added in Judiciary was another exception for the Department of Youth Corrections. That's all it did.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Judiciary Committee report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Sheffel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colleagues, 1152 requires that still pictures, all this what we see as passive surveillance, what we see all around the Capitol, and in the observed life that we lead nowadays, it requires that passive surveillance, still pictures, images, video obtained through passive surveillance by governmental entities be destroyed within 12 months of the images being recorded, subject to an exception where they are required as evidence in a civil, criminal, labor, or administrative proceeding. There are a number of exceptions to it, as we just talked about. Corrections is an exception. Evidently, Department of Wildlife monitors the traveling of elk, and so they are accepted from this bill. But it's a good bill. As we all know, and what we hear a lot from our constituencies is the surveyed life that we lead now, and that's important. It has its role in crime prevention, et cetera. It also is subject to overreach and a general disquieting on the part of the citizenry and our constituents. And so 1152 is designed to strike that right balance at the appropriate time when we need to get rid of these records and preserve privacy. Ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Senator. Any discussion? Senator Johnson or Lundberg? Senator Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to come to the well for a minute to discuss this bill because we did have a very good discussion about this on committee, and I know Senator King, who I guess is not here this morning, also had some questions, so I feel like I should speak on behalf of both of us. I think there were some concerns raised by folks from or hypothetical concerns from the victims' rights community. What would happen if 3-4 years after a crime has occurred, we suddenly get information to discover there was a child abduction or there was a shooting, and we now have information to believe that it was in a section of town where there was a government building that had a surveillance video. If we had ordered the disposal of that video after 3 years, you would now have a case where potentially a victim could never again get access back to that video because the government had forced the disposal of it. Whereas on a private property, if you're talking about a 7-Eleven that has their own video camera, they can keep that video forever. And so if 10 years from now you want to go back and solve a cold case for an armed robbery of a 7-Eleven, they still have that video. So I want to draw attention to one line here in the bill which I think helped solve this problem, which is they do set aside an exception for any scenario in which there is an active investigation or an active court case. So if you hypothetically had an armed robbery or a shooting outside of a government building that had a surveillance video, that video would be kept even after the 3-year timeline had run. So if you have, say, like the Jessica Ridgway abduction, right? If she were abducted at the site of a government building that had government surveillance, or if you had government surveillance outside the Aurora Theater after the Aurora shooting, once there is a known case in controversy, that video could be preserved and could be kept if you think there's a cold case in the area. And so for people who shared that concern, I just wanted to say that I think there's some important language that the sponsor put in to protect in cases of live investigations to prevent us from losing really valuable evidence that could potentially lead to solving important crimes. So that was why I was a yes vote in committee. That was why I'll be a yes vote on the floor.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I come down here quite often to point out deficiencies in bills. If this bill has any deficiency, it's that it doesn't go quite far enough, in my opinion. But what it does do is the right thing. And therefore, I did support it in committee. I will support it on the floor as well. I would like to remind you of the fundamental principle of good government that this at least aims toward in a very positive way.
and that's most clearly stated in the Fourth Amendment. And this is what the people of Colorado, as well as the rest of the country, are guaranteed by the Constitution. And that is the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Now, it doesn't talk about video surveillance in the Fourth Amendment, because, of course, that was not even contemplated. But what was contemplated and understood clearly against the backdrop of the abuses that the colonists had seen from the King of England and his government were the overriding of their rights for privacy within their private lives. Now, I recognize that there have been some court decisions that have said, oh, but if you're on the streets in a public place, there's no privacy granted there. I don't agree. I believe that without probable cause, and that's the operative point, and that's where the senator from Denver made reference to the exceptions that are put in here, which are appropriate because we are not trying to frustrate the wheels of justice, but we're trying to honor the rights of the citizens to conduct their lives as they see best without constant oversight from the government. And in today's world, you cannot walk down a street without expecting that there's one or two cameras clicking away. And when it comes to civil government having the control over those images, there should be limits. And that's why this bill does go the right direction. I believe it does the right thing. And it's not just a matter of what is practically, reasonable. To me, it also must hinge upon that principle of what is the business of government and what is not. It is in administering justice, but it's also in maintaining the privacy of the individual citizen. And so, in the context of today's world, I believe this is a very appropriate piece of legislation. I urge its adoption.
Any further discussion on House Bill 1152? Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I just want to add that I'm really grateful to the sponsor for bringing this bill. As a prior speaker had mentioned up here, really fundamental to the founding of this country is privacy rights, and includes privacy rights against surveillance. The difference between a free state and a police state is very much this line that we're hovering right now. And having a society where the technology has enabled more than ever before to potentially keep nearly constant surveillance on innocent persons who have neither been charged, tried, or convicted of anything, I really do think affronts our sense of liberty and the Fourth Amendment. I would just add that in addition to the comments about the founding and the other things that were found oppressive, originally from England when this came forward, I had traveled with my family to the former Soviet Union back in the 80s when it was still the Soviet Union. And I'll tell you, one of the things that really is the hallmark of a police state is the sense of having the government do pretty much constant surveillance on its civilians who have frankly not been suspected of doing anything wrong. It's a really very reasonable bill. I think it is a step in the right direction for protecting the privacy and the freedom of civilians who are not accused or suspected of any crime. And I just wanted to thank the sponsor, who shall remain nameless, for your work on this bill.
Any further discussion on House Bill 1152? Sponsor's identity is being protected for privacy purposes. Senator Ulibarri.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also rise in support of House Bill 1152 and wanted to extend the same thanks to the bill sponsor for bringing this issue forward. I think my colleagues have said it well, that we are in a unique point in time in our history because of the advances in technology, and just because technology exists and it's possible doesn't mean it's right. And so I think this bill is a smart response to ensuring that we can maintain our privacy rights moving forward.
Any further discussion on House Bill 1152? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1152. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1152 is adopted. Majority Leader Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we rise and report.
The motion before the body is to rise and report. All those in favor, please say aye. Those who would rather me just stay up here, please say no. The ayes have it. The committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come back to order. Senator Johnston.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee has met and had a series of bills under consideration. Mr. Majors, would you please read the report?
March 13, 2014, Madam President, your committee of the whole page report that had under consideration the following attached bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 23 is amended, passed on second reading in order to gross placed on the counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1152 is amended, passed on second reading in order to revised, placed on the counter for third reading and final passage.
Senator Johnston.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of the report.
Is there any discussion? Question for the body is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 23 is amended, passed on second reading, and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1152 is amended, passed on second reading, and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Message from the House.
March 13, 2014, Madam President, the House has passed on third reading and transmitted the revised statutes House Bills 1284 and 1277. The House has passed on third reading and returns herewith Senate Bills 142 and 149. The House has passed on third reading and transmitted the revised statutes Senate Bill 63 is amended. The House has adopted and transmits herewith House Joint Resolution 1011.
Introduction and consideration of resolutions. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Joint Resolution 1011?
House Joint Resolution 1011 by Representative Stevens and Senator Aguilar concerning the rights of people with cognitive disabilities to technology and information access.
Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Joint Resolution 1011. It does not need to be read at length. Members, this is a resolution I'm co-sponsoring with Representative Stevens from the House around people with cognitive disabilities and having access to technology. And in fact, over 450 organizations and prominent individuals from around the world have endorsed this declaration. But Colorado, again, is at the forefront, taking a lead on this issue and being the first government to support and endorse this resolution. Cognitive disabilities include intellectual and developmental disabilities, autism spectrum disorder, severe and persistent mental illness, brain injuries, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, and other dementias. With this resolution, Colorado is formally adopting and saying that the access to technology and information for people with cognitive disabilities is a priority. In the 21st century, Coloradans and all Americans find and hold jobs, grocery shops, socialize through Facebook and other social media, access healthcare, and participate in the global economy through technology. People with cognitive disabilities ask only for the same access to participate in contemporary life. Ensuring access to technology and information for people with cognitive disabilities will help create new markets and jobs, decrease dependency on public services, reduce healthcare costs, and improve the quality of life for all people. Access to information and technology is a gateway to including people with cognitive disabilities in our increasingly global community. Coloradans with cognitive disabilities, including our many wounded warriors and our vast military community, through access to information and technology, gain admittance to the varied communities that make up our great state. They seek nothing more but deserve nothing less. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you will support House Joint Resolution 141011.
Further discussion on House Joint Resolution 1011? Seeing none, the question for the body is the adoption of House Joint Resolution 1011. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 2 excused, House Joint Resolution 1011 is adopted. Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the morning roll call be added as co-sponsors.
Any objection? Seeing none, the morning roll call will be added as co-sponsors to House Joint Resolution 1011. Signing of bills.
March 13, 2014, the President signed Senate Bills 24, 31, 43, 59, 96, 97, 105, 107, 108, 121, and 138. The President signed House Bills 1052, 1065, 1172, and 1229.
Delivery to the Governor.
March 13, 2014, to the Governor for signature on Thursday, March 13, 2014, at 8:06 a.m. Senate Bills 24, 31, 43, 59, 96, 97, 105, 107, 108, 121, and 138.
Message from the Governor.
March 12, 2014, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon me by the constitutional laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, and submit to consideration the following member of the Board of Trustees for the University of Northern Colorado. For a term expiring December 31st, 2015, Kevin Walter Aaron of Morrison, Colorado, to serve as a Republican, and occasioned by the resignation of Susan E. Carparelli of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, appointed sincerely John W. Hickenlooper, Governor.
Education. Appointment letters.
March 6, 2014, the Honorable Morgan Carroll, President of the Colorado State Senate. Dear President Carroll, on behalf of the Board of Regents of the University of Colorado, I am pleased to forward to you the following appointment to the University of Colorado Hospital Authority Board of Directors. From the 4th Congressional District, Margaret Kelly, for a term effective July 1st, 2013, and continuing until June 30th, 2017, or until her successor is appointed by the Board of Regents. This will be Ms. Kelly's first term on the Hospital Authority Board of Directors. This appointment was approved by the Board of Regents at the June 20th, 21st, 2013 regular board meeting. A copy of the resolution to this effect and biographical information are attached. Per CRS 2321-503, Parent 2, appointments to the Hospital Authority Board of Directors from the congressional districts are subject to the advice and consent of the Senate. Please let me know if you have any questions. Sincerely, Cheryl Espinoza, Assistant Secretary to the Board of Regents.
Health and Human Services.
March 6, 2014, the Honorable Morgan Carroll, President of the Colorado State Senate. Dear President Carroll, on behalf of the Board of Regents of the University of Colorado, I am pleased to forward to you the following appointment to the University of Colorado Hospital Authority Board of Directors. From the 6th Congressional District, Denise O'Leary, for a term effective October 1st, 2013, and continuing until September 30th, 2017, or until her successor is appointed by the Board of Regents. This will be Ms. O'Leary's first term in the Hospital Authority Board of Directors. This appointment was approved by the Board of Regents at the September 16th to 17th, 2013 regular board meeting. Copy of the resolution to this effect and biographical information are attached. Per CRS 2321-503, Parent 2, appointments to the Hospital Authority Board of Directors from the congressional districts are subject to the advice and consent of the Senate. Please let me know if you have any questions. Sincerely, Cheryl Espinoza, Assistant Secretary to the Board of Regents.
Health and Human Services.
March 6, 2014, the Honorable Morgan Carroll, President of the Colorado State Senate. Dear President Carroll, on behalf of the Board of Regents of the University of Colorado, I am pleased to forward to you the following appointment to the University of Colorado Hospital Authority Board of Directors. From the 5th Congressional District, Jerry Rutledge, for a term effective September 1st, 2012, and continuing until August 31st, 2016, or until his successor is appointed by the Board of Regents. This will be Mr. Rutledge's second four-year term as the Director of the Hospital Authority. This appointment was approved by the Board of Regents at the June 20th, 21st, 2013 regular board meeting. Copy of the resolution to this effect and biographical information are attached per CRS 2321-503, Parent 2. Appointments to the Hospital Authority Board of Directors from the congressional districts are subject to the advice and consent of the Senate. Please let me know if you have any questions. Sincerely, Cheryl Espinoza, Assistant Secretary to the Board of Regents.
Health and Human Services.
March 6, 2014, to the Honorable Morgan Carroll, President of the Colorado State Senate. Dear President Carroll, on behalf of the Board of Regents of the University of Colorado, I am pleased to forward to you the following appointment to the University of Colorado Hospital Authority Board of Directors. From the 2nd Congressional District, Beth Slipher, for a term effective January 1st, 2011, and continuing until December 31st, 2014, or until her successor is appointed by the Board of Regents. This will be Ms. Slipher's second four-year term as the Director of the Hospital Authority. This appointment was approved by the Board of Regents at the June 20th, 21st, 2013 regular board meeting. Copy of the resolution to this effect and biographical information are attached. Per CRS 2321-503, Parent 2, appointments to the Hospital Authority Board of Directors from the congressional districts are subject to the advice and consent of the Senate. Please let me know if you have any questions. Sincerely, Cheryl Espinoza, Assistant Secretary of the Board of Regents.
Health and Human Services. The following change in bill sponsorship will occur. Senator Grantham will be added as Senate Joint Prime Sponsor with Senator Hodge on Senate Joint Resolution 19. Announcements.
Andy?
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. Yesterday, many of you probably heard about the really horrific chase that went from Longmont all the way down to Lone Tree. I think there were 3 or 4 different cars that ended up being carjacked, and including a 4-year-old. There was one significant injury for the day, and that was a state patroller, Bellaman He, who lives in Lakewood, and he did go to the hospital with some pretty serious injuries. My understanding is that he is doing well. We're expecting a full recovery. He's a pretty regular visitor to our town halls that we do in Lakewood, and I know we're all wishing him well, but just take a moment to think about the folks who are out there serving the public and protecting us every day, and getting in the way of danger so that we're a little bit safer. So I just want you to think about Patroller He, and hopefully he's at home watching us on TV right now. I don't know what else he could possibly be doing other than enjoying his day watching us on the floor. So let's take a moment to thank him.
Thank you. Other announcements. Senator Johnston.
Thank you, Madam President. I asked for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Just wanted to take a quick moment to introduce 2 of the most important influences in my life. My mom is here, and my brother are both here, so I wanted to welcome them. And my niece, Zella Gorsuch, is also here with her classmates from the 5th grade at Vail Mountain School. So welcome to all of you, and thanks so much for being here.
Welcome. Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Madam President. I just want to also acknowledge this young 5th grade class from Vail Mountain School, and they're from Senate District 5, and we want to make sure that they have had a good history lesson this morning in the state capitol.
Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And in honor of the resolution, we're joined here today by some guests from some community center boards, but I did want to point out that in addition, we have people from the Coleman Institute. And those of you who may know the Coleman Institute know that they actually donated a large amount of money to the university to help with their assistive technology program. And so I'd like to welcome them to our Senate this morning.
Message from the reviser.
March 13, 2014, we're here with transmit without comment House Bills 1277 and 1284 without comment as amended, Senate Bill 63.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Seeing no other announcements, I would just announce that all of the committees will meet as scheduled, both on adjournment and this afternoon. And with that, I move the Senate adjourn till 9 a.m. Friday, March 14th.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The Senate will adjourn until 9 a.m. tomorrow, Friday, March 14th.